In Taiwan, beer culture is not as ancient as you might think. Barley and wheat, the primary components of beer, are not major crops in Taiwan. So how did Taiwanese people start drinking beer? Nowadays, Taiwanese people are not only beer drinkers, but also beer brewers. When did this industry take root in Taiwan? How did Taiwan adopt beer culture and develop its own local characteristics? My name is Paul Peng Wang, an expert in the field of alcoholic beverages with over 20 years of experience. Buckle up, beer lovers. I'll be your guide, showing you all the secrets to making great beers here in Taiwan. And some will be beer beyond your imagination. Are you ready to enjoy the taste of freedom? Beer culture was brought to Taiwan by the Japanese during the colonial period. At first, beer was imported. Later in 1919, the Japanese built a brewery in Taipei and produced the first batch of local Taiwanese beer a year later. The colonizers at the time brewed their beloved drink according to the traditional German way. That is to say, all malt with no other grains or sugar added. When the Japanese rule ended in 1945, beer stayed in Taiwan and became a part of the local culture. The location of Jianguo Brewery was in the middle of nowhere, with farmland all around it. Half a century later, with the development of Taipei City, it's now in the middle of downtown. The old-time brewery is kept in great condition and has been designated as historical site.
就是我们的第一支啤酒的发源地在这里，第一支酵母也在这里，也是日本时代第一座的啤酒厂。1919年的时候动工，那1920落成之后开始生产啤酒。那个时候就叫做高沙麦酒株式会社。同时间还有日本的总督府，就现在的总统府跟台北市政府都成立了。那后来到日本政府离台之后，国民政府接手，这个厂就改制成叫做专卖局的第二酒厂。
Tobacco and alcohol business was state-operated monopoly, which had great ramifications on Taiwan's drinking culture. After the Kuomintang government retreated to Taiwan after World War II, they kept the business monopolized and established Taiwan Tobacco and Liquor Corporation, or TTL for short. The company has played a significant role in the evolution of style and taste of Taiwanese beer ever since. The inclusion of Penglai rice in the brewing recipe is what defines the signature taste of Taiwan beer, and it's also a smart solution to oversupplied rice. Brewing with such starchy adjuncts results in a lighter taste compared to that of normal beer. As TTL has enjoyed the lion's share on the market since long, people's taste for beer has been remodeled accordingly. TTL has two products that predominate the beer market in Taiwan, the classic Taiwan beer and the gold medal Taiwan beer, which are both the same type of beer, pale lager. Both craveable and thirst-quenching, the two products share a similar taste. The major difference between them is the level of bitterness. Gold medal Taiwan beer was designed to be less bitter. The lighter taste is thought to contribute largely to its success on the market. It sells 4 times more than its sibling, classic Taiwan beer. It might be true that Taiwanese people prefer their beer to be less bitter. However, sales are not solely determined by the flavor. From beer recipe, marketing strategy, to packaging, all of these elements played a part in the creation of this all-time winner on the market.
到了2003年的时候，整个市场年轻人突然喜欢比较清淡口味的金牌台湾啤酒推出以后大受欢迎，因为非常清爽。台湾啤酒因为历史悠久有在台湾社会有一定的支持。这个即使现在我们因为WTO 开放国外的啤酒进口，不过我们的目前还是市占第一。
Located in subtropical zones, Taiwan is an island where the weather is mostly hot. Although winter in Taiwan is not really that cold, the beer market remains silent from October to March, with a dramatic 30 to 50% drop in beer sales compared to that in summer. It seems that Taiwanese people don't enjoy cracking a beer in cooler times of the year as much as Germans or Americans do. Simply put, summertime is the only high season for beer in Taiwan. From July to September, beer is consumed in quantity nationwide. And the quantity of beer sold during this high season is equivalent to some dozens of Olympic pools. A great compensation for the winter deficit, isn't it? Beer is so popular in summertime that the restaurants might not always be able to replenish their fridge on time. Even if they do, the beers wouldn't be cold enough. The solution? Beer on the rocks. It's common for Taiwanese people to enjoy their beer with ice cubes. If you are a beer fundamentalist or a beer purist visiting Taiwan for the first time, you might be stunned seeing those floating ice in the beer. In addition to crafting classic beers, local brewers get creative with their concoctions. Taiwan takes pride in its political freedom as well as artistic freedom in the craft beer scene, where every ingredient imaginable could be incorporated into the brewing recipe. With Taiwan joining WTO in 2002, the government was no longer allowed to monopolize the alcoholic beverage industry and began issuing licenses to private entities. Suddenly, breweries, wineries, distilleries mushroomed all over the country. Taiwan has now become the home to a dozen of world-class brewing companies whose products altogether cover the full spectrum of diverse beer types. Whether it's specialty beer brewed with local ingredients or a lager stays loyal to German recipe, they are all brewed here in Taiwan.
我们当初成立24节气这个系列，是想要用一个系列的啤酒，让台湾人可以了解说啤酒文化，然后也很好记，因为我们直接把中文书法写在上面，然后用台湾的各种原物料来讲台湾人自己酿酒的故事。
那每一个节气的书法字的字体都不一样，我有注意到。
对，
你有特别设计过吗？
有，我们尽量可以涵盖各个书法的字体，然后我们也请书法老师帮我们先把所有的字都写完了，然后那个时候我们才一个一个出。
因为台湾也算是一个茶的重要，在它世界茶的产地当中是一个重要地图的一个点。所以当初在选这些茶的时候，有特别的考量吗？台湾的茶那么多种，要怎么跟啤酒的类型结合呢？
像我们刚开始推出的时候，我们是出谷雨跟立夏，我们是一次2个开始推出。那我们就用最基本的，台湾人最习惯就是乌龙茶，所以我们用比利时的 Pale Ale 加乌龙茶。然后另外一个立夏，它就是一个 American Pale Ale， 就是一个很基础。我们想要用2个最基础的东西，先跟大家介绍说，我们可以从基础的开始喝。因为我们想要不只是把啤酒的原料用在地加入而已，我们想要可以符合类型。像金萱这个酒的话，我们是用 Scotch Ale， 它本身就会有一个奶香味。那我们特别用台湾的金萱茶，它也会有一个奶香味来结合。那我们可以让台湾民众知道说 Scotch Ale 这个类型是什么味道，用茶来代表。那也可以让外国人知道我们的金萱茶的风味。
我们很鼓励大家在什么时期，然后在什么时间，然后吃什么东西，喝什么东西。因为我就是台语讲的就是丢西啦，就是那个概念。其实名字不是我们随便取的，什么这个节气叫清明，那我们就要去思考清明我要用什么 beer style 会符合这个节气它背后所隐含的意义。我们整个概念是结合在一起的。这个时期它盛产什么东西，或者它适合喝什么东西，然后再比照什么 beer style 会符合这个节气它的含义，我们是这样整个抽下来的。除了酒的 beer style 确定之外，我还想要加一些就是 local 的 ingredient， 因为我会觉得越在地越国际。我们做一个 Imperial Stout， 那说话国外也在做，但我们要怎么表现？这是 Made in Taiwan 的 Imperial Stout， 所以呢，我们就实验。那我们后来发现，咖啡跟 Imperial Stout 其实是很合的所以我们用的是在嘉义阿里山的咖啡豆，然后我们把咖啡豆冷泡进去啤酒里面，让它产生那个咖啡的香气跟那个口感。那整个协调性、整个平衡度，它是更有层次。像我们卖最好的，其实真的就是比较偏甜一点的酒，因为台湾的市场的消费者的偏好是这样子的。 没错。但我们也在尝试啊，说实在，就是我们除了要做消费者喜欢的东西，我们还是要做就是我们自己爱的东西。但是我们明明也知道，我们做这个东西可能是叫好不叫座，但是我们还是会继续这样子做。我们还是有那种就是那种使命感啊，说实在的。
Here we are at Summit Brewery, where we will taste world-renowned honey lager.
开始做这蜂蜜啤酒的时候，然后餐厅的客人就会回复说怎么没有蜂蜜味，然后我们就是一直沟通说我们是用天然原物料，那配餐反而变得很好，所以其实酿酒师还蛮幸福的。我们有发好芽的麦芽，有做好的啤酒花，有处理好的蜂蜜，所以我们不像其他的一些或者是古早的酿酒师啊，需要自己在后面种啤酒花，自己发麦芽。对啊，我们也是手艺人说实在的酿酒师。然后我一直在想说，酿酒师在台湾能不能成为一个行业？这是我在去年底的时候跟我们老板讲的，说我们一无所有，我们就把青春都酿进了酒里了。哇，
把青春都酿进了酒里了。From snacks to finger food, from 热炒 to restaurants, Taiwanese people always enjoy beer with some food. I'm here at Umami, one of Le Blé d'Or brands, where Summit's beer are served. I have a rendezvous with its chairman, Mr. Quentin Ye. We will discover the secrets to enhancing beer drinking in the restaurant.
20年前呢，我们当初只是为了开了一家小酒厂。单卖啤酒呢，可能那时候没品牌，也没有名气，那很难推广，所以就自己开了一个啤酒餐厅。你必须搭配一些菜。那我觉得台湾人他喝酒，他是在一个氛围他的氛围感，他来到这边，因为这边的音乐，因为这边的食物还有人与人之间的那种感觉，之后他才会再去在意说，我喝的是什么。所以餐厅是最好的方式去跟消费者沟通交流。台湾人的习惯还是一样，就是啤酒配炸物咸酥鸡、鸡排这些的，所以炸物一直是我们在餐厅里面很大的一块。国外的朋友，他都会觉得，台湾的东西好像都是会稍微甜一点，然后蒜味会多一点，就是有好几个这个主要的味道在主导，我觉得这个就是在台湾的一个特色对。麦香味跟蜜香味，这两个东西的结合，会是大部分对啤酒会有排斥的人，他们最能接受的。
Taiwanese people enjoy beer in various social settings, sharing it with family and friends. One of the best representations of Taiwan's food culture is the 热炒 restaurant, where cooks serve the diverse menu at a fast pace. These restaurants are an integral part of the Taiwanese street scene. Let's start with some appetizers. Seaweed salad seasoned with garlic, ginger, or vinegar is a very common and popular dish in 热炒 restaurants. Goose and roe fish are also among my favorites. I'll pair these appetizers with Gold Medal Taiwan beer, which is smooth and appetizing. Here comes squid, fried with basil leaves, soy sauce, and sesame oil. Its chili-infused flavor is simply divine, especially when enjoyed alongside the classic Taiwan beer. The bitterness of the beer complements the spiciness, creating a harmonious sensation. Absolutely delicious. And don't forget the deep-fried oysters and crispy shrimps. They make perfect beer snacks. Typically, we wrap up a meal with some soup. It's common for people to drink something to cleanse their palate after eating. As for me, I'd also enjoy some beer. Cheers! Have you ever tried Taiwanese beer? Leave your comments below. For more stories about alcoholic beverages in Taiwan, follow us on Taiwan Plus.